Well, Kyle?
Yes, Garrett.
The thought of continuing gives me gas.
I am going to struggle on this one.
I am too. Why are you going to struggle?
Because they're all good.
Okay, yeah, I sat down to make notes, and I'm kind of feral for a lot of these dungeons. I really like them. We've had I guess we just, do we begin? We just start?
We just start. Yeah, we have what is the MSQ dungeons. Check our previous video. Like, that's where I'm struggling. It's like they're all of quality. None of them is particular, like, stand out, but they're all doing what they do excellently.
Yeah. Yeah.
They set out to make X, and they made it.
They made X.
And they made X.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Before we get on to the probably pixelated wall to myself, because we record promos after the fact, did you know that we're completely supported by you? So if you like what Kyle and myself do together, consider going to supportourbromance.com. That'll take you directly to our Patreon. If you would prefer, you can also join here as a YouTube member. Both give you access to the members only channel in the Discord. Both give you access to bonus videos. You're basically choosing if you want emotes in live chat and if you'd rather get your bonus videos on YouTube or over on Patreon. But you get the same videos in both places.
Or watch us with premium. That's nice. That's really nice.
That is very nice.
That's better than ads.
And go support our Clips channel over at youtube.com/grindinggearclips. Thanks. I've done a terrible job at introing this. Welcome back to the Wall of Dungeons. We have a physical wall now. If you missed the first Endwalker session we did all of the 6.0 MSQ dungeons. So today we're here to do more Endwalker dungeons. We're doing all of the patch dungeons, and we're starting with the 2 optional dungeons.
Ready on release.
Which, needle drop. It's time for Smileton. Not actually a lot of smiles going on in Smileton.
No, in fact, it's actually a rather bad time for the poor little bunnies.
Yeah.
Their 3D printer has gone awry.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I thought I was gonna hate this. I don't boilerplate hate the Loporrits like I think some people do. I feel like they overstayed their welcome in 6.0. And when we were like heading back, I was like, okay, I like the moon. I like hanging out on the moon. I like Loporrit. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Shenanigans?
No, I like I do, and sometimes I like their shenanigans.
Sometimes. Yeah, I like them when they're playing Voltron.
Engage!
I like when they are steeped in their own technology.
Oh, well, yeah. I like architecture was what I'm looking for.
Architecture.
I love Best Ways Burrows, I like all that stuff. You know, just that towards the end of Endwalker, I was like, I'm done with the Loporrits. Can we move on, please? But it was fine. So I didn't think I was going to particularly like this dungeon. And I'm just gonna pull up my notes and read verbatim my very first bullet point under vibes.
Oh, we should probably introduce that again.
We try to think about dungeons when we rate them in 3 main categories: vibes, music, and bosses. We try not to think about the story. Hot damn, holy hell, shit on a shingle. I love how this dungeon looks.
Wow. Any part in particular?
Just the whole thing, because there's not a massive visual progression through this dungeon. It kind of all looks the same.
It goes into the dark room on the back end when we really get into the 3D printer going awry business.
That's true, but it's still, it's still consistent.
Initially, it's that painting of the stairs that are in a loop.
It's just cities on top of cities with no agreement on what direction is up.
And then you go through a portal and you end up upside down?
I think of it as the best sequence in the first Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Where the city's folding in on itself. Yeah. Now this isn't in motion. It's kind of static.
Well, the best scene is actually when he's falling through space.
Yeah. And it's our list, so we can get into our personal likes and dislikes. One of my favorite aesthetics in the world, especially in MMOs. If I'm in a dungeon or I'm in a raid and I am walking on either a wall or a ceiling, I'm having a good time.
They can't stop making jazz, and it works.
I think this is my favorite track we're going to talk about today.
Ooh.
I adore this track, and I forgot how much I like this track. I think this track is so good. Also, it's going up against multiple Final Fantasy IV tracks today, so it's an easy win.
I pose this. I think jazz works really well in Final Fantasy XIV because you're hitting so many buttons. We call it a piano anyway in MOBAs. You feel like you're participating in the music.
At no point has it ever entered my mind, but I like it. Because I don't think of myself as someone who likes jazz.
I won't sit down and listen to jazz.
No.
But I do enjoy it as a change of pace, as an element of something else.
Yeah. The track is called Carrots of Happiness. Again, everything about this, I was like, it's Smileton, it has to do with the Lopowitz. The song track is called Carrots of Happiness. I'm going to loathe this dungeon. Nope. I love it. I love this music. This is the best usage of shopping mall organ I think I've ever heard. Bosses! First up is literally Face.
Yep, Face. He's a face.
What's up, Olmec? How you doing?
He's got a lot of faces.
I love Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Mechanical faces. I've not done this dungeon enough to understand what the shit is going on during Face. Frame worker. All right, we got a little bit of fighting polygon team going on. Mechanics are readable and wacky, and I always enjoy that.
Yeah, and then we have Smile Maker.
The big cheese.
Yes, the big cheese. Bombs and conveyor belts. Conveyor belts as a mechanic, I love. They roll, yes. They're wonderful. I love conveyor belts, and because it's simplistic. You instantly understand it. There's one on the left, there's one on the right. They're going to move, and anything on it are going to move. And then the damn boss starts also dropping bombs that don't move on the non-conveyor belt floor, and you have to parse all of that. And that's just like it's beautifully telegraphed. You can put it together quickly.
And it's a hallway fight, and I love hallway bosses. And then add conveyor belts to it. That's just a good time. There's the horse on Somal. The goblin in Alexander.
Yes.
There's temporary hall fights like in Itioscope.
A lot of wall fights are also hall fights. They're slightly wider hall fights, though. This is also, I would say, a slightly wider hall fight. But you don't want to end up on the conveyor belt. So
and mixing those two elements make it a very fun fight.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I've done enough circle arena fights in my day. I like a hallway. Close it up. We only got 4 people. Let's do it. Let's go. Overall, I get the bosses kind of fall off for the vibe for me because they're all kind of just fairly standard tech dudes. Like that's kind of it. But the mechanics are fun. So it's for me, it's a pretty minor thing. I kind of love this dungeon. I kind of love Smileton.
It's an A.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So we agree because I was gonna say I think I want to start an A. I don't think it. And I think I would put it higher than Vanispati. Like I think I might.
Okay, we're doing a left to right.
Well, for now, we have enough room.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Stigma Dreamscape.
One word review of the vibes, and we're going to say that one word at the same time. Are you ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Space.
Immaculate. Space?
Space.
So much space. Need to see it all.
Immaculate is good. I wrote, what happened to the dinosaurs? I mean dragons.
What?
Well, it's a history lesson, really.
Oh, I already know it's in my notes. I don't even have to look. I know that I wrote. So nostalgia does work when you personally have nostalgia for the nostalgia that they're nostalgia-ing. I apparently love Omega. That is one of my favorite things we've ever done was the Omega raids back in Stormblood. Adore it. I love every callback to it. I was very excited to see Omega represented at the end of Endwalker. And so I had some fairly high.
They're a mess.
We'll do a physical wall. It'll be great, they said.
There we go.
Yeah, why don't you set that down?
Hands.
Yeah, get it out of your hands. So I had pretty high hopes for this heading into it from a vibe standpoint, and it did not disappoint. This dungeon looks awesome. I love it. I think it looks cooler than the twinning, and I think the twinning looks really cool.
And the fact that you have the Sir Eye watching you through all the boss battles to deduce your fighting prowess and tying that back to the lore built in Omega, about him trying to find the perfect multi-dimensional creature or villain to throw at you. I love this. And I think Final Fantasy dragons look kind of goofy, particularly the ones they've really leaned into for the Omega Planet kind of time period. They're just little fat boys. But I do like them in here.
I just don't have a lot to say about the vibes because I love them. I agree with everything you said. Good visual progression. The music, it's Escape. It's a reorchestration of Escape, a pretty faithful reorchestration of Escape. I really like Escape. Splitting hairs, but I do like this version a little bit better. I already like Escape. I think I like this version of it just a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little more stank on the harmonized guitar riffs, and the percussion is just a little more percussive.
Good music's good music, and they used it correctly, so good music.
We're going to talk about reused music a lot today, and this is not one of the times
offenders
where it annoyed me. Proto Omega, first boss. This is where I wrote, and I quote, "I guess nostalgia works when you understand the reference, because seeing Omega again after loving the raid sparked some serious joy in me." That's what I wrote. That was my personal note. And then you have Arch Lambda,
who is the coolest reskin of a motorcycle melted person possible.
Yes, and does the fast telegraph dashes, and I love what I refer to as DBZ style fast fighting. So I love fast dashes, and it's not the only fast dash we're going to see, but it is the first one we're going to talk about today. So I just want to mention that I love that. I think it's fast fighting is part of the reason I like Barbaricia so much. That's a trial, not a dungeon, but just to touch on another boss that I really enjoy.
And Stigma 4, the ball amoeba with fists.
I think of it as having radial attacks. It has those nice little perfectly radiating like cones on the ground, and then attacks, of course, happen there. And it's just so pretty when all of that happens.
I want to just give it extra points because it's an optional and it's something I wanted to see. I wanted to see the dragons and the robots fight, and we got to do it.
And that is story, but it's also vibes.
Yeah.
The song is good if redone, but I'm not mad about it. And the bosses are good. If anything, I think ending on just kind of an eyeball is like they didn't push it as far as they could have for like cherry on top for the final boss. Like the end of the twinning, and you walk in and you're fighting goddamn Alexander. That is a perfect step up, and then a perfect finish to that dungeon.
It's kind of an escalation into energy weapons. They didn't really know how to go any further than the ever-evolving ball of nanomachines.
Yeah, it works, but it I would say, like, if the twinning was on here, and maybe at some point we should do a video where you reconcile every dungeon in the game on the board. Comment below if you'd like to see that. Yeah, man.
And after the eye haunts you through the first two earlier bosses, I kind of want to just fight the eye, but like that's the only thing really keeping it down. I love seeing the rest of it. It's definitely in the range here.
Oh yeah. It's up here for sure. I don't know if I put it at S.
I don't think it reaches S. I don't think it goes there. It doesn't have the ideas per minute. It's not just one idea, but it is an experiment of Omega. I like what you're doing here. I like all this. Yeah, keep that going.
Just the tiniest scoot down.
Yeah, okay.
Just the tiniest scoot down.
So what, like this? You thinking like maybe right there?
I was thinking just keep going across, but higher.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go.
The height is like the quality of the letter. Yeah. It's an A. A means I love it.
A is great.
Here up is the love line. This right here?
Lovely line. What a lovely line.
This right here? This is our love line. I'm rubbing it.
Call now.
Up next, Altsidal's Legacy.
Newfound Adventure. This is Newfound Adventure. Officially Newfound Adventure.
Have you ever been beneath the waters in the Bounty?
There's a symbol. We found the symbol. We got footage of us finding the symbol.
We did find the symbol.
Yeah. With chat's help.
Well, they told us there was something to find.
Yeah, and we looked for it.
Yeah. I think Endwalker's patch content put a really strong first step forward with this dungeon. And some of it is personal aesthetic. I love swamps. We start off in one of the best looking foggy swamps that I've seen in an MMO.
Would you like to see the upcoming Dawn Trail assets? You're right. It's such a strong foot forward. And all we're doing is just talking about dungeon, but like as a callback card of like, come on back. You finish Endwalker, it's patch time. Such a pretty dungeon. But wait, that's not all, because we also do underwater giant aquarium, followed by the best treasure room they've ever done so far. And I don't even hate the earlier treasure room.
I do.
I know you do. Well, just the color palette.
Yeah.
You know, like a Pixar movie, going from that foggy early swamp entrance and down into just I can't. There's a king crab.
It's mystical ruins with water walls, which again I don't think this has ever come up. I'm a huge sucker for water walls. I love
so
magic
cool.
that holds water back. Is like, oh, that's my shit.
Atlantis, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I like more is a water orb.
And water orbs are nice.
Yeah.
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Is that, that's probably why I started playing Final Fantasy X, because I saw Blitzball.
Blitzball was super cool. And those graphics and those cutscenes were awesome.
A lot of people complained about it. I like Blitzball. Yeah, this is one of the strongest visual progressions. It doesn't matter that it's not the end of the world, like Dead Ends. Like, that's a really intense visual progression. We are going through multiple dying worlds from one world to the next. Of course you're going to have visual progression. You are dimension hopping. Here, this is classic adventure. And it is pitch perfect. I adore it. It's great. And it gave me hope for Final Fantasy ratcheting down the stakes. I think they did it well. I'm putting a lot of importance on this dungeon that it probably doesn't need, but I just think it's so well executed.
It was newfound adventure. It was so adventurous. It was a treasure room and a proper exploration through the jungle to find it. I loved it.
The map unfolds.
I really like this because it sounds like what should be my favorite part of Animal Kingdom. Just some hidden little corner that only I know about, where I've got my little popcorn and my little barbecued meats, and I'm just gonna sit down and relax in the back of a zoo.
Seems very specific.
It's got like a Happy Place Disney vibe to it that I really like. Disney Park, I mean, it is straight up Animal Kingdom music.
I will ding the music a little bit. The section where the horns come in. Those are some boring horns.
Oh, God.
Those horns they're not doing it for me.
It's predictable. It's a predictable song, but I like it. It's doing what it's supposed to.
We start, of course, in bosses with, whoa, Black Betty, Amba Jam.
Amba Jam. He's colorful. Little jellyfish man.
Yeah. I love a jellyfish
man.
Other than that, I don't know. Mechanics are fine.
It's a straightforward mechanic, but very visually interesting fight that hints at the upcoming underwater segment. And that's a lot of fun. Really, I just want to skip straight to Armored Chariot. I love mirror lasers so much.
Oh, dude, same.
I love defeating bosses. I love Medusa. Something about mirrors. Love them.
The mirror shield in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, the Spirit Temple fight's so good.
So amazing, yeah.
And so seeing mechanics that bounce off of bosses' mirrors, love it.
Chef's kiss.
Great
Love
room, great environment, great mechanics. And that robot look does hint itself towards the next boss, Capiculu.
I'm looking at it, and that's I guess how I would pronounce it.
The Textile Knight.
Yeah. Wildly unique model. I am certain it's a reference to some sprite from some Final Fantasy I haven't played. I do not care. It works really well here.
I think it's just a tiny Susano with floor spikes that didn't really come into play, but
because we're good at the pointer mechanic, because we've
done
a bunch of Fall Guys before we did this dungeon.
But floor spikes, newfound adventure. It's just a floor spikes. You gotta love them.
I played the original Prince of Persia. I've got a very warm spot in my heart for floor spikes. The ribbons coming down.
That's pretty.
It's a good fight. It's a huge fight arena. A lot of room to make mistakes and get impaled.
I think we should keep going with A, and when we're done, we need to take a big look at A.
Yeah, because I don't think this is S.
No,
I think
it's so good.
Now I'm looking at Smileton again. The music is nothing to write home about. The music it's not bad.
No.
But it's not great.
I'll join you on unremarkable, though I do like it.
Yeah, it's inoffensive.
I might like this more than Fantaspati for sure. And we kind of got that going on.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
So
we're going to do a little mid-show.
Wait, hang on. V Vanaspati?
I don't think Vanaspati hangs with any of this.
let's put it here for now. You know?
All right, it goes in purgatory.
Yeah, let's
goes
think,
in
let's think about that, because then we have to go to Zot, and that's going to take time. I don't want to think about Zot right now.
I think Zot's a strong B. If anything, I would move it up.
The Fell Court of Troya. Warped hallways.
Oh, yeah.
Haunted manor with massive oil portraits.
Ooh, yeah.
Interdimensional ramparts and buttresses.
Is any dungeon gonna suck today?
I like it. All of our dungeons, I'm just listing different environments that we go through in thirds. Like, these are all tours.
They're all wonderful dark rides, if you're a Disney fan. And we bring up theme park rides a lot when we talk about dungeons, and that's because I see a lot of similarities in their design philosophy. It's all about controlling what you're looking at and tricking us into thinking it's bigger than it is, and theming the main attractions, in this case bosses, appropriately.
And visual storytelling, like the painting room, leading to our second boss. Like just having this evolution that is entirely encapsulated inside of it into the void garden outside for that big reveal.
I have nothing bad to say about the vibes. I would say with the music, I would go back to inoffensive. At no point does my cup runneth over with adoration for this track. It's harpsichord. I love harpsichord. But you can only go so hard with harpsichord to the point where I'm actually going to want to put this track on outside of the game.
I love a good ghost waltz. I really like, and it's just the food, the atmosphere. It's perfect.
It's very rare I ever feel this way. But it's one of the rare occasions where I wished music tracks would change through a dungeon. Because once you're out into the final third of this dungeon, you're out on the ramparts battling, the harpsichord ain't really doing it anymore. It doesn't really match. It's perfect for the beginning when you're in those narrow claustrophobic corridors that are warped and bent and you feel like you're going to turn a corner and see Beetlejuice with a number in his hand. That's perfect. But when you're out on the ramparts, we need to bring it up. Evil Dreamer, probably my least favorite boss we're going to talk about. It just adds the boss.
The flying many heads. I like flying heads. I find them creepy.
Yeah.
So it was a good introduction. Not particularly memorable, but...
No. Then we got Beatrice, who looks like a main character.
She has a lot of poise and style.
Really cool costume design.
For what ends up being a dead boss.
Yeah.
So that's good, right? We wanted more.
Maybe. I wanted more.
Yeah, I wanted more.
But Boba Fett energy. Original Boba Fett energy. Cool-ass character. Shows up. Goes out like a chump. You never see them again.
I mean, all the demons are pretty sad about it.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's a good point.
She's a big deal in Demon Town.
She's famous on the internet.
And then we didn't know the importance of Scarmillion, but it didn't matter.
Yes, yeah. One of the fiends?
One of the main fiends.
Yeah, the first of the main fiends. Scarmillion. I really like his model too, the kind of cloak physics. It works. He's creepy from another world. Like long, gangly limbs. It's like, I'm not a big Gollum fan. He's like Gollum if Gollum was cool.
Oni Elephant Docked Ock.
Docked Ock? What does he have?
Yeah, he's got 4
extra
elephant
arms?
trunks as arms coming out of his back.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Forget about that.
And I know the elephant trunks are available, so why not use them? But it was weird. Weird choice. I do like Oni faces, though. I love the kind of, Japanese masked teeth thing going on.
Yeah, it's a good fight, too. I like a strategic knockback fight. I like any fight where I get knocked back and I have to make sure something is or is not behind me. It's just like, it's classic MMO boss fight design. I've experienced it in damn near every MMO I've played. I really enjoy it. And this is no exception. It's also it's a newer dungeon. The arena design looks quite pretty. The zone you're not supposed to fall into looks nice.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It doesn't go above and beyond, but boy, is it grindable.
All of these 4 from Altadal left. I do like them all better than Fellcourt. Fellcourt, the vibes are going really doing all, like pretty much all the heavy lifting. I don't mind the music, but I don't love it. I wouldn't listen to it outside of the game.
It works in the environment.
The bosses are pretty cool, but they're not as cool as Anima. They're not as cool as Boss.
Like,
yeah, Boss.
What do you think of that?
I think we could start there, but honestly, I think it might be a strong B. Like, I think I'd rather run Zot over and over again. I I think these fights are more fun. I'd rather run Zot.
And that's a vibe. That's a feeling.
I think I'd rather run Zot than Venice Body.
Yeah,
so
make it happen.
Venice Body ain't making it out of this. I'm telling you right now. There we go. All right.
Wow, that's weird.
Fellcourt. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
It feels weird. I love the vibes, though. Lapis Manalis. Kyle, I feel like I've had something nice to say about every snow dungeon we've ever come across in this game.
Okay.
And it continues. This is a great looking snow dungeon.
All right.
It's a great looking snow dungeon.
Yeah.
Kicks off with the freaking rope bridge, too. I love rope bridges. A rope bridge covered in snow? Yes.
I love spinny sideways drill tires. I love drill machines ever since the Technodrome. So, drills that are used as wheels in trams, I'm super into them. So the tram is freaking great. I'm just listing shit at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there is no vibe. It's a journey.
I think we need to get rid of vibes. I think vibes are not helping us
We
today.
should just call it journey. It's
just good.
Snow tram, snow mountainside, puppet cave, and underground oil room. Like, that's just places.
Yeah. You go places, man.
Remember the bird wind place? Where the whole thing was just one birdie wind place? Look how far we've come.
Birdie wind place.
Yeah,
where we had to wait for the fucking balloons.
Yeah, the balloon.
I hate
the
that
Heaven's
dungeon.
Word balloon.
That dungeon.
Yeah. Look how far we've come.
Fuck that dungeon. Yeah, let me put Manalis down here. It's kind of great. I would say that the doll cave is just a cave.
It's just a cave.
It's a pretty the middle portion of this dungeon is pretty visually unremarkable. And I would even say that the ceruleum fuel caverns below it, while it is well executed, I feel like we've seen shit like that before.
The mountain was the best part.
Yes. So in that way, I will say visually progressive wise, like, yeah, it's we like classic adventure, and this is classic adventure. However, I do think Altidal does it better than Lapis Manalis. And then we have the music. It starts and I'm like, oh no, is it just danger music?
Danger music.
But then you pick up on the Garlemald theme. You're like, oh shit, that's kind of cool.
Okay, they work something in
but
there.
But again, it never goes hard, and I don't need all my music to go to really kind of pop off. But so far, the only one that really brings the energy and makes me want to bop is Carrots of Happiness and Smileton. Everything so far has kind of been a little understated, except for Stigma, but that's cheating because they just used the escape again.
Right.
And I gave it top of A, so it's getting the respect that it deserves. Yeah, I'm looking for a track. Like if there's a theme across this, if the vibes are pretty much like kind of stellar across the board, I think the music is kind of across the board. I want a little more.
That Garlemald does elevate it though.
Yes.
And I think it could be a little like it could be more if we went a little like Himalayan, but we don't stay there. So it's hard to define what the music would be for a snow doll cave oil room adventure. Yeah, it actually works better for I think the back 2/3 of the dungeon than the front first. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that first boss with the stampede mechanic. By the way, the Yeti business. I love a good Yeti. Yeah, and he's cute. Yeah, he's great. And doll boss Zot tier. Actually, kind of hard. Really good boss design. Actually hard. Breaks my brain. The limit cut AoE, because the first time she does it, there's only 2 points. Super easy. You're like, this is great. The second there's 4, it just does this thing where it's really easy for me if I'm not trying to greed out a bunch of extra uptime. If I am trying to greed out a bunch of extra uptime, I can't do it. My brain breaks. I'm just like, I can't count to 4, Kyle. I can't count to 4 if I'm trying to continue damage on the boss, because the windup is pretty lengthy. And if you actually just kind of stand there, like
A kid on the first day of school going, which one's my bus? You feel bad because there's enough of a pregnant pause. You're like, I could have gotten more attacks in. I could have been a pro. But then you lose count and you get hit by the mechanic, and this mechanic will fuck you up.
And the fact that she's a training dummy doing those things is a nice bit of theming. Why they dressed her like that when she's a training dummy.
Lolita murdered training dummy.
The Reapers are kind of weird. Reapers, man.
Reapers, are you okay?
You doing all right there? You know what you did.
Are Reapers okay?
And then we get to fight an actual fiend at the end. We fight Blastoise.
Yeah, really like that fight too. Although not as good as second boss.
I have preferences when it comes to water bosses.
Oh, I thought you were going to say preferences when it comes to Goth Lolita girlfriends.
How I would dress my training dummies?
Yeah.
You know what? If you want to...
I would watch that anime.
I bring my all to bear.
Kaznasty? Cagnazio. Yeah, he's great. I really like his crazy turtle Blastoise business and all his water stuff.
Like classic kaiju vibes. I'm a sucker for a tidal wave. We've seen a lot of tidal waves. Yeah. This is a good tidal wave. Not as cool as, say, Ryu's tidal wave.
Not as cool as that. That had snakes in it, though.
It did have snakes. Also, like Dutch angle, a lot more camera motion. This, you're locked onto your character for it. Another instance of fast dashes. So I love fast dashes.
Yeah,
it's good
we
shit.
love them.
But again, what was her name? Galatea. Galatea, I think is a better designed fight. There's more to it. I don't always think that harder is necessarily better, but she's more difficult, and I also just think a slightly more interesting fight to pull off.
Well, I feel like I finally found some peace because we've started to identify the journey dungeons, and that's what is really happening here in these patch dungeons over and over again. We have journeys, and we can start that too, and we can start to deduce which are our favorite journey dungeons, and we're also starting to get mechanically some really good dungeons on the board.
I want you to hold on to that feeling.
I'm hooked on that feeling.
It's not journey.
I just see a hole to fill right here, but I kind of like the stepping stone that is happening maybe with Felcourt.
I like Felcourt better than... That's the easy point for me.
Yeah.
Do you like Felcourt better than Manalis?
Yes.
What do you think? Where's Itioscope in here?
Oh, interesting.
I'm just curious. Now I'm not saying I'm necessarily leaning here, but let's fight this for a second. I don't hate this dungeon, but honestly, I think I would have liked it better if it had just stayed snowy.
Yeah?
But the middle boss is Zot tier, but not every boss is Zot tier.
I mean, I kind of like
I do like that first boss. You can put Cagnazio is just kind of fine.
I kind of like putting it below Itioscope for the fans. You know, for the fans.
For the fans?
For the fans,
We haven't even gotten feedback on the first wall yet.
No, we're recording this before you all saw the previous wall.
Everyone might be like, yeah, get in the garbage, Itioscope. Finally, someone's brave enough to say it.
Can you put it lower?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't think I'd want to run it over and over again.
No, I don't think so. I think
it's a high C.
Yeah? High C? I love that drink.
I do too. It's mostly corn syrup.
It is mostly corn syrup. Yeah, it's sad. The Ether Font.
This dungeon is pretty.
Oh.
It's so pretty, Kyle. It's so pretty. You start on a glacier.
The Glacier Fields are nice.
Looking at a beautiful green Icelandic. I know Scotland has places that look like this too. I've never been there. Can you tell? But just that harsh change from I'm on a glacier to thick, lush grass rising up into mountains.
Summer on a glacier is pretty good.
It looks like the wallpaper for your first MMO. Like, it's just an MMO-ass vista when you first get to this dungeon. It's like, hide your UI, bring your camera all the way out, make your character look small and silhouetted against this, take a screenshot. That's like how, short of the Titty McEverQuest, that's how every MMO was advertising itself back in the day. Like, look at our biomes. We have snow and we have grass. But it's a really good one of those.
But how do you feel about penguin murder?
I hate it. I hate killing penguins, even though people are like, they're not penguins, but I think they're puffins, which is not a penguin.
You sure?
Whatever. They're penguin
I wouldn't
adjacent.
kill a puffin.
They're adorable birds. I know they eat puffins in some countries.
I would not eat a puffin.
I probably would, but I'd feel bad about it.
I might try a puffin.
I will try anything once.
Yeah.
Almost anything.
I eat duck and I feel bad about it. I love ducks. They quack. The crystal fields. I'm not a huge fan of like just crystals. Yeah, I know that that might be a shock playing Final Fantasy XIV. We got a lot of crystals here.
Yeah, it's good. My critique for this dungeon is kind of similar to Manalis. I think the best of it is in the very beginning.
I give it points for being downhill. I feel like we don't get to enjoy seeing where we're going as often in a dungeon.
Well, first it goes uphill and then it goes down.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like the descent to the final Kraken is so good.
Yeah.
And that even though I dock some points for personal preference on just Crystal Cave, I still just like, why is that so rare? Like, why is it so rare to see where you're going in a dungeon? I guess because things are phasing in at a distance.
Final Fantasy XIV isn't a particularly vertical game.
Yeah.
They're very limited. Even when you have flying, you can't fly up that high, all that kind of stuff. It's something that, coming from World of Warcraft, I still kind of catch myself being like, why is this so flat?
It might just be the dimensions, like their box is able to work inside.
I think so. But then you get out to Lakeland on the first, and they have that one tower that just goes like a million miles high. And I'm like, more of this, please. Can we do more of that? Can we go up to the top of the Crystal Tower and jump off? Like,
that is weird.
I digress. It's interesting that you brought up the bird dungeon we both hate and can't remember the name of from Realm Reborn.
Okay. Because
while revisiting this, I was like, man, those zip lines over those beautiful vistas. It's like, hey, what if waiting for balloons didn't suck? The zip lines are just cooler. Zip lines are always cooler.
I like zip lines.
I don't care what South Park says.
In a video game.
Oh, music. There is music. Yeah. Star's Breath. Using flow after 6.0 is cheating. And it works.
It's changed up enough. It's playing from space. I'm not a music expert. That's the best I can say. It's like the guitar sounds distant, and I kind of like the vibe. And I definitely like the tie-in to Sharlayan because we're having this exploration of an abandoned facility. We're not doing the abandoned facility thing, but there is Sharlayan kind of Idleshire business going on here. Animal guilt killing the puffins into the poor kaiju'd little newt thing. What are those called? Water?
Oh, no. Wow, the first boss, the Lingbacker.
Poor little newt that like got kaiju'd up by radiation. Just kicking his ass.
Just big kill me energy.
I feel bad, but he does need to be put down.
Just too horrible to live. Just
Boss 2 bores the shit out of me because it looks like a League of Legends character.
Arcus?
It is a polar bear with crystals in its pits.
Oh god, that boss looks like microtransactions.
It does. It's not its fault. The poor bear. He's corrupted by crystals. But he does look like a microtransaction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that fight too. It reminds me of Ruby Weapon because the cracks in the ground and then they explode.
Yeah.
Like it's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
It's a solid fight, but you're right. That is a riot art ass polar bear.
500%.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
And I love running from Octomammoth. I loved his circles. I loved how much you had to run to get out of his big tentacle slams. Really fun boss battle.
Listen, I think we have seen more than enough octopus, squid, kraken fights in this game. And as final bosses, no less, in dungeons. This is our third?
And one of those was the same person.
Yes, like we've seen it enough. But this fight is chaos, and I kind of love it.
Yeah.
The semicircle fight arena really shakes it up. This is easily the best kraken fight we've had to date. Easy winner. Jumping across islands for the second time we fight the Kraken. Like, ugh.
This is fun. And in a game where, I think it's okay to be a little critical of how many circles we fight things in. This is nice.
The horseshoe.
This is a nice shape.
It's the horseshoe from hell.
I like the shape.
It's a good shape. I like dodging like these tiny little slivers of safety when everything's going off, but then a tentacle comes out of nowhere and smacks you. I don't know if I can do anything about that. It seems like I can't. It's probably a tell. I bet you there's a tell.
There's probably a tell.
It's probably a physical tell.
But he's big, where are you supposed to look for it?
He's a huge bitch.
It's part of the, it's so new. We've only really run it once kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's definitely in this adventure, like just nice, grindable adventure place.
Like, I still really like it.
Yeah.
Like, if I got it in roulette, I'd be like, oh, cool. I haven't done this in a while.
I think I would, for aesthetic, I enjoy Felcourt more. But I think Ether Font might have more entertainment in the long run.
This, like, might be my favorite vibes. No, Stigma's my favorite vibes. It's just, they do the vibes so well. Even though this is more my very personal, I like spooky things vibes. But I also like Omega vibes, and Stigma's really good Omega vibes. And plus I got Catesis. Catesis is a little spooky. Dead Ends is super spooky. It's not goth spooky, but we still get a little spook.
And I definitely like it more than
Manalis.
Yeah, than Cave. I think like right there.
Yeah. I think just below it, it might be tied with Felcourt for me. I don't think I'd be mad to get either of these for very different reasons. But I like them both. Lunar Subterrane. It all comes down to this.
The big history lesson. We have a journey again. It's a shorter journey in our vibes. It's not the Lunar's fault, but I don't know why there are so many square pillars on the 13th, and I'm not terribly interested in that look anymore. So many video games have done it recently in the last 10 years, and just not impressed.
I'm over it. Yeah. However,
it's not its fault.
This dungeon does the cave that bores me in the right spot at the very beginning of the dungeon. This dungeon escalates in a near perfect fashion from a vibe sense. Because that first cave, I should like it. I like dark and spooky things. My favorite part of the first part of this dungeon is how the distance recedes into red. That's really the only visual I like. The rest of it, I'm with you. I'm like, I have seen squares enough time.
And it grounds the dungeon, so when we do get fantastical and historic on the back end, we had that journey, and we didn't just dive straight in.
We started on the 13th.
I like that.
And we progressed to what the 13th used to look like. It's all the 13th, baby. It's just different points in time.
And I gotta give, points for it's not Ul'dah. It's not Alamigo. It's not Gridania. It is like a more witchery kind of cottage medieval town.
Classic medieval.
Yeah.
And I know it's a Giant 4 reference. I'm aware of that fact. I have only personally beaten Final Fantasy 1. And I gotta say, the vibes of this, it's like if my imagination just went wild with what the setting of 1 looked like writ large, with a much higher budget and visual
fidelity.
Yes, visual fidelity. I love the vibes once we get to the city and it's under siege and you see the castle in the distance and then you actually end up going.
You get to go there. Yeah,
it's so good. It is so. I was excited to see the farm in the distance at the beginning of Shadowbringers and then go to the farm. This is just. Oh my God. Oh, I almost forget the name of that dungeon, and I love it.
Holminster Switch.
This is just better Holminster Switch. I love Holminster Switch. This is just better. This is just 100% better. It's that, but better and bigger. It's the Holminster Switch with hookers and blow. I love it. I love this dungeon.
And spiders, antlions in particular.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that thing is totally a Final Fantasy IV sprite. It's has to be.
But I don't mind any of it because it's all kind of in this universe that we've built and eased into with the 13th in the first place. So I really like the environment.
No, it's the 13th place.
The music. I've deduced a feeling that you're not a fan of this one.
Organ always does it for me.
Organs are good.
Organ always does it for me. Smileton does organ better. The everything besides the organ, it just sounds like a MIDI.
No, but what about the part?
This is the final dungeon.
What about the part? Wow, 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 wow. Like it's so short. It doesn't last. But for some reason, in the middle of this adventure, old sounding, clearly a reference kind of song, this electric guitar just smacks in and it's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, that's the best part of the track, and it lasts for like 10 seconds.
It is like really short.
Yeah, it's like 10
but
seconds.
It is sick.
Yeah, there's two very small portions of this track that I like. I like the track. I don't like that it just sounds so old and MIDI. Like, this game makes money hand over fist. Go get an orchestra.
Interesting thought.
You did Escape again. You changed Escape. Make this song better.
What if there was a reference that you knew? The Dark Elf, Boss 1.
Oh, yeah.
You fought him in Final Fantasy 1?
Yep. Also, the goblin, just trash goblins we fight in the middle portion of this dungeon are sprites straight out of Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah? He's got the stupid hat on and everything.
They totally work. They also really fit.
Yeah, he seems alien and weird and fiendy.
I don't think it would have bothered me if I hadn't played a classic Final Fantasy, because I think they fit the setting that we're fighting through. There's just an extra layer of, I know where that's from. Like, I'm finally at that point. I finally played something that got referenced in this MMO, and I gotta say, yeah, I get it. It does feel good, and it's well executed. Like, I'm not the type of person who just claps because member berries. Like, when I don't like you either shows up in Rogue One, I want to fucking strangle the movie.
Interwoven or adjacent to. I love Antlion. I love being pushed with falling pillars. Falling pillars are already pretty great, and getting pushed around during this crazy crab beast in the middle of a siege is excellent.
Yeah, I always like pillar mechanics, and these are some pretty damn good pillar mechanics. Again, also it's a really big arena. There's a lot of room to kind of get messy.
You
like,
gotta move around.
It feels like a Coliseum fight because there's columns and sand, and you're fighting this beast. Like, I feel like I should have a crowd cheering for my demise, which I guess I do because I stream.
And Durante, who you fight in his like half awoken.
I'm sorry, who?
Durante? Xenos. Oh, the shard business?
Yeah, you mean Xenos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I wrote, and this may be beginner's luck, because I've only done it once. A lot going on there, but not particularly hard.
No, but cutting all those orbs in half and them splitting and then exploding, I'm going to say it. I got to think for a second. I think I agree with what I'm about to say. It is my single favorite boss mechanic of anything currently on the board. It is so cool.
It's high effort.
It is, yes. It is high effort. It is very cool. I hope to see it again in the future. It's my favorite boss mechanic we're going to talk about today. The splitting of the exploding orbs is cool as shit.
I think my favorite is ass-face Babel spines that drag across the floor.
Oh shit, that is cool too. Yeah.
But that being out of a person, even though he had wings and stuff and half a face, he's cool too. Durante's cool.
Yeah, and then maybe conveyor bombs.
And conveyor bombs.
I love conveyor bombs.
There's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah. That's what. There's nothing here for a reason.
Very much
except
so.
despair
except
from
for this poor guy.
The poor dead otter man.
Seal.
I'd
go with Seal
man. Yeah, Seal man. Yeah.
I'd run that right now.
I'd run it right now. I would. If there's something I want to hear and I actually haven't looked at the set, I would happily declare this an all-day grind stream. That's how much I like this dungeon. And I feel like I owe it to the Final Fantasy IV fans. I really love this dungeon. So I think it goes.
Ooh.
I think Lunar Subterranean goes right there.
Oh, that's bold.
I really like that dungeon. I think this holds. I think this hangs. Like these are dungeons I am going to fist pump when I get them in a roulette.
I like that a lot. If I were to do one thing on this board right now, it would be like draw little sparkles around Zot, because that's the one, that's like the learn to drive car. And I just feel like it deserves a little medal.
Standing in support of Zot, what if we... Hear me out!
Okay.
I think we both love the vibes so much on Felcourt.
Yeah.
Right? Am I speaking for you?
I think that's okay.
Because I know I'm the spooky guy, but ramparts, man. Ramparts. Yeah, and Itioscope, you know what
I like
you did.
this. I like all this. I think you just did a really solid rearranging. I think Zod earned it. After all he's been through.
Just the more we come back to Zot, like, this is the wall. It's a journey. The wall is a journey.
It's a living, breathing thing.
And as we talk about more dungeons, you start to appreciate. You don't know what you got
Until you put it on a tier list.
Until it pops up in roulette 20 times and you're still not sick of running it.
Got 13 dungeons here. What do you think?
What do you think? What got robbed? What got praise it didn't deserve? And what did we absolutely nail that no one is going to disagree with? Comment below. Thumbnails.